Hello. Hello, hello. Hey Chanel. Hi, crafty creative designer. How are you doing? Oh, hey, thank you for the hearts. Who is giving me all this love right here? Dee, what's up? How are you? I hope our friends pop in early today because I'm fighting a headache. Oh, thank you. Hey, Nicole. Welcome. I'm gonna go on my phone. Oh. See how I'm sounding. That lag. Heather. Hey. How are you, Heather? How are you? I haven't had a chance to look at your pattern yet. I'm so... yeah. I'm sorry about that. How was work? Thank you for keeping me company on Sunday. I finally finished the scarf. Hey, Crafty. I'm hanging in here. Oop. I'm hanging in here. But I was so tired today. I had to take the oldest in for his allergy shots. And then I got home and immediately just crashed hard. I was asleep. Oh, it was work. I know. I was asleep for... I set my timer for like an hour and I just kept resetting it. I woke up because my head was hurting. Went to take some Advil. And like I'd just been talking to my husband because he came out of his meeting room. I spoke to him for about 5 minutes or something. Promptly fell asleep again. Then I got woken up because my son at school, he was having like a delayed allergy reaction. So that was around 3. And so I went to get him from school, called the doctor, and they said to bring him. So I took him in and we had to stay there for her to give him some more meds and monitor him. And then, so by the time we got home, it was past 5. And I had to get started on dinner. But then there was a thing at the high school that I had to go to about course selection. Yeah, he's much better. They monitored him. They gave him some prednisone to reduce inflammation. Where he got the shot was still reactive. The doctor was like, it's still warm. I'm like, what? And if you touch like other part of his skin and then touch that, it felt warm. So they gave him prednisone and they gave him Zyrtec. Oh, I forgot to get it. He's out of Zyrtec. I need to buy some more. And the doctor said that we should carry an EpiPen with us. I thought I had one. I think it might be expired. But hey, Blue, how are you? Tell me why, even with insurance, for some reason, insurance doesn't cover the EpiPen. So it's like $279. So the pharmacy called me. I was like, we wanted to just double check that you're okay with this charge. And I was like, hold up, wait a minute. Let me go find out why. So tomorrow morning, I have to talk to insurance and figure out what's going on with that, because that's very high, isn't it? I'll have to double check. We bought it when he was in 6th or 7th grade. We bought one. He never needed it, and of course it expired. But that was $200 and something just down the drain. So anyway, I came home, made dinner, rushed to the school for the course selection talk, and got back home, put the toddler down for bed. It's Valentine's this week, so making these little Valentine. Someone gave out, I think they had overbought those little cards, so they had one, and I was like, I'll take it. And I took it, and we stuck some lychee gummy candy to it. So we'll take it into school for the toddler and put him to bed, and then finally had some dinner. Finally had some dinner. Crafty, how have you been? Oh, Heather, will you be able to go to bed early today? I'm hoping I can go to bed early, but I'm a liar when it comes to that. I'm such a liar. So we'll see. I almost canceled the live today, but we ended yesterday in the middle of the live, so I felt like I wanted to come at least finish a chapter. Stella is available on the tube. Hey Stella, how are you? Crafty, I've been exhausted. I've been working 9.5 hour days, 6 days. 6 days a week for 3 weeks now. No, that is, yeah. No wonder you're exhausted. I'm so sorry. Is there an end in sight anytime soon? I'm so sorry. That is a lot. That is bonkers. I'm so sorry. Whew. My head hurts again just thinking of 9.5 hour days, 6 days a week. I can't even math. Okay, I can't math. I was gonna try to math. It's not working. It's not coming through. Hanging in there, Stella. Hanging in there. Well, hanging in there. I have to tell you all, I really do enjoy coming on here, and I feel so bad if I ever have to cancel or reschedule, and I know y'all don't mind, but I feel so bad. I'm like, they're waiting for us to have this time together. And I have to tell myself to like simmer down now, slow my roll, but just to assure you all that I really feel bad if I ever have to cancel or reschedule, I feel utterly, yeah, the 2 weeks that we're traveling, I was like, oh man, but there is no way I can go live wherever I am, so I will miss you all. This is your last week doing this. Wait, Crafty, are you perchance in the medical field? Those hours seem like shift. Oh no. Oh, Heather's comments are being filtered. No. I'm not even sure how I can view those. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'm not even sure I can see those from where I am. Ay. Thank you for joining. I couldn't go live on IG today. I was playing around with settings and it was just being crazy. So I'm not on IG today. But yeah. I have my beautiful little thing where I have that random bar. Yeah. Oh, well, grocery store. I mean, I feel like that is not medical per se, but it's definitely health. You take care of people's foods. Yeah, okay. That's a lot. Because you're dealing with people too. And we human beings, we can be quite challenging, innit? Well, I'm so sorry. And this is your last week. I'm so glad. So are you done now, or are you going to have to work a few more days, like till Saturday, and then that crazy shift is done? Yay, Heather. Yes. Oh, that is great news. All the very best in the interviews, Heather. Yay, I'm so excited for you. Getting interviews right now is so tough, so fingers crossed for you. Yay. Crafty, yes. You know what? I'm sending you some of this. I'm borrowing it against all the energy I know I have some evenings, and I'm sending them your way so you can finish out this week strong. And I really, really hope that once the week is done, you're able to get some rest, because that sounds bonkers. That sounds bonkers. Anyway, Stella is saying IG has been a pain lately. Videos are getting suppressed. I know. I'm not enjoying a lot of the social media platforms right now. Oh, I'm not enjoying them at all. And it makes things a little bit hard. Yeah, people are feeling there's no other word I can think of as miasma. There's just a lot of unhappiness and discontent and injustice in the air, and I think people are feeling it, and it's probably coming out. And already, with all the waves of layoffs and jobs being so difficult to find, people having a hard time finding housing, food costs are high. There's a lack of grace, if you will, and people are shorter, because I think in times of abundance it's a little bit easier to extend grace to people, give them the benefit of the doubt. But a lot of what has happened recently has shown or seems to be like some people are taking advantage of the grace being extended, the olive branches being extended, and seem to be doing stuff that makes lives harder for others. So extending grace is a little bit hard right now. And I think that's coming out even more for people in the service industry, like at the grocery store, insurance. My field is in customer support, and I don't even know how that's going for when people call in for help. And it's almost as if everybody is not hoarding, but they're saving that extension for it's hard to give the benefit of the doubt. Thank people are just emotionally exhausted and just trying to keep themselves safe and not really. Oh, yeah. I see Donna is here. I don't know if Maria is here. I hope she is. But we're going to get started. Stella was saying that it's ridiculous on the platforms. Videos are getting suppressed and she doesn't have this problem on other platforms. Hey, Maria. Yay. Yeah, I don't know what's happening on IG. It's not fun. Thank you, Solitary. It's not fun. And, yeah, I'm even struggling. Hey, Blue. Hey, Blue. Yeah, Heather, you've been working customer service. So you said you're looking to leave insurance. Where are you thinking? What would you like to move into? I think after the whole TikTok shut down and then coming back live, that whole debacle, that whole theater, if you will, I've not been very excited to create content for the platform. It's making it hard. You know, I'm not enjoying the process as much because it just feels very... yeah. Anyway, we're here to read a little bit of Emma, and today I'm only gonna finish that chapter, hopefully. We can chit chat a bit and then I'll go off. I will use the extra time to see if I can schedule, hey Val, to schedule some of the videos for when I'm gone. I'm gonna try to edit and upload as many as I can. Admin, clerical, customer support, data entry. Yeah. I will send you, there's a group that I'm part of. I'll send you, see if I can get you an invite to there, because people post jobs on there for customer support as well. Yeah. Okay, darlings. Let's get started, shall we? Let us get started. I sort of kind of want to keep my music on. I'm feeling very... Yeah, I'm going to keep it on. I apologize. I know we don't normally do that, but I feel like keeping the music on today. And before I get started, quick, let me put that on here. As I mentioned the last time, was it last time? It was just yesterday, wasn't it? Just yesterday. What'd you call that bad boy? I took part in a fundraiser last year. It's a knit-a-thon. It's called Knit for Food, to help support four organizations that help those who are food insecure. I've created a team. I called it the PJs, Pages and Pearls, to encompass all of us here on Pages and Pages and those in the knitting crafting community. So there are multiple ways you can support if you're interested. 1, you can join my team and help me fundraise. 2, you can just donate directly through my link. That would be amazing. And 3, if you can't do any of that, you can share this event, this campaign with other people that you think might be interested. I think last year we were able to raise about $379,000, which was pretty awesome. And it goes to 4 organizations: No Kid Hungry, Feeding America, Meals on Wheels, and World Central Kitchen. And I'll tell you, one of the reasons why I thought that was so brilliant is that the organizations chosen hit different groups of people who are feeling or experiencing food insecurity at various times. Kids, No Kid Hungry; Meals on Wheels, the elderly who sometimes are not able to get the food they need if they don't have family members around or for some reason don't have that access. This is one way they get food. And then we talk about Feeding America. That's talking about families. And I believe Feeding America is one of the main organizations that connects a lot of the different food pantries around the country. So they really reach a lot of people. Now, World Central Kitchen. Last year, actually, we just finished a fundraiser, and a couple of weeks later, they lost some of their volunteers who had just delivered food to people in Gaza. They show up whenever there is some kind of humanitarian crisis. They have like teams that fly in, but they work with the local people to create food that would be acceptable based on the availability of food, the cuisine of that area. So they fly in when there are hurricanes, all of that. And so they were on ground in Gaza, and some of their team members lost their lives at some point, like literally 2 to 3 weeks after we finished last year's event. So that was very striking. But as you can see, these 4 orgs are providing support to basically human beings across all the different stages in life. So I thought that was really cool. So if you're interested, like I said, if you can't help with a monetary donation, that is all well and good. Just share the link. There might be some people who can. If you are very well versed in fundraising and would love to do it, you can join my team or join and create your own team. No pressure, but I thought we could do this together. So I created the team with that name. So, okay, that's my spiel for today. Thank you all. Subscribers, please see the subscriber post I made and add your recommendation for a book. I think I only have like 3 or 4 recommendations. You don't want to miss out. And if you would like to be a subscriber, I welcome you. I have a Patreon link on my bio. If you become a subscriber, you help support me, but also it gives you the opportunity to recommend one of your favorite public domain books for our next read. Then, once I've collated the whole list, when we are at 75% of our current read, the subscribers get to vote on the list, and we choose our next read. It's pretty fun, I think. Alrighty, let's get started now. Yesterday, I was exhausted because I pulled 2 or 3 all-nighters knitting a custom order scarf. And so we ended our live in the middle of a chapter. So I think, was it chapter 2 or chapter 3 that we ended in? I think it was. Hey, pretty Taz. Let's see. Is my Kindle also rebelling against me today? There we go. Boom. Okay, my Kindle is not. Here we go. I hope y'all are counting the books we read together as part of the books you finished for the year, because you did listen to all the chapters, right? Okay. Okay, so where we ended, Emma had just seen Mr. Knightley standing by what I guess they considered the wallflowers, and she was thinking about him and wondering why he was there and why he wasn't dancing. So, let's see. And I think I ended with the word indubitable, which I'd seen in a few places. So, friends, let us continue with Emma, Volume. The ball proceeded pleasantly. The anxious cares, the incessant attentions of Mrs. Weston were not thrown away. Everybody seemed happy, and the praise of being a delightful ball, which is seldom bestowed till after a ball has ceased to be, was repeatedly given in the very beginning of the existence of this. Of very important, very recordable events, it was not more productive than such meetings usually are. There was one, however, which Emma thought something of. The 2 last dances before supper were begun, and Harriet had no partner. The only young lady sitting down, and so equal had been hitherto the number of dancers, that how there could be any one disengaged was the wonder. But Emma's wonder lessened soon afterwards on seeing Mr. Elton sauntering about. He would not ask Harriet to dance if it were possible to be avoided. She was sure he would not. And she was expecting him every moment to escape into the card room. Escape, however, was not his plan. He came to the part of the room where the sitters-by were collected, spoke to some, and walked about in front of them, as if to show his liberty and his resolution of maintaining it. He did not omit being sometimes directly before Miss Smith, or speaking to those who were close to her. Emma saw it. She was not yet dancing. She was working her way up from the bottom, and had therefore leisure to look around. And by only turning her head a little, she saw it all. When she was halfway up the set, the whole group were exactly behind her, and she would no longer allow her eyes to watch. But Mr. Elton was so near that she heard every syllable of a dialogue which just then took place between him and Mrs. Weston. And she perceived that his wife, who was standing immediately above her, was not only listening also, but even encouraging him by significant glances. The kind-hearted, gentle Mrs. Weston had left her seat to join him and say, "Do you not dance, Mr. Elton?" To which his prompt reply was, "Most readily, Mrs. Weston, if you will dance with me." "Me? Oh, no. I would get you a better partner than myself. I am no dancer." "If Mrs. Gilbert wishes to dance," said he, "I shall have great pleasure, I am sure, for though beginning to feel myself rather an old married man, and that my dancing days are over, it would give me very great pleasure at any time to stand up with an old friend like Mrs. Gilbert." "Mrs. Gilbert does not mean to dance, but there is a young lady disengaged whom I should be very glad to see dancing. Miss Smith." "Miss Smith? Oh, I had not observed. You are extremely obliging, and if I were not an old married man, but my dancing days are over, Mrs. Weston, you will excuse me. Anything else I should be most happy to do at your command, but my dancing days are over." Mrs. Weston said no more, and Emma could imagine with what surprise and mortification she must be returning to her seat. This was Mr. Elton, the amiable, obliging, gentle Mr. Elton. She looked round for a moment. He had joined Mr. Knightley at a little distance, and was arranging himself for settled conversation, while smiles of high glee passed between him and his wife. She would not look again. Her heart was in a glow, and she feared her face might be as hot. In another moment, a happier sight caught her: Mr. Knightley leading Harriet to the set. Never had she been more surprised, seldom more delighted than at that instant. She was all pleasure and gratitude, both for Harriet and herself, and longed to be thanking him. And though too distant for speech, her countenance said much as soon as she could catch his eye. His dancing proved to be just what she had believed it, extremely good, and Harriet would have seemed almost too lucky if it had not been for the cruel state of things before, and for the very complete enjoyment and very high sense of the distinction which her happy features announced. It was not thrown away on her. She bounded higher than ever, flew farther down the middle, and was in a continual course of smiles. Mr. Elton had retreated into the card-room, looking, Emma trusted, very foolish. She did not think he was quite so hardened as his wife, though growing very like her. She spoke some of her feelings by observing audibly to her partner, "Knightley has taken pity on poor little Miss Smith. Very good-natured, I declare." Supper was announced. The move began, and Miss Bates might be heard from that moment without interruption till her being seated at table and taking up her spoon. Jane, my dear Jane, where are you? Here is your tippet. Mrs. Weston begs you to put on your tippet. She says she is afraid there will be draughts in the passage, though everything has been done. One door nailed up, quantities of matting. My dear Jane, indeed you must. Mr. Churchill, oh, you are too obliging. How well you put it on. So gratified. Excellent dancing indeed. Yes, my dear, I ran home, as I said I should, to help Grandmamma to bed, and got back again, and nobody missed me. I set off without saying a word, just as I told you. Grandmamma was quite well, had a charming evening with Mr. Woodhouse, a vast deal of chat and backgammon. Tea was made downstairs, biscuits and baked apples and wine before she came away. Amazing luck in some of her throws, and she inquired a great deal about you, how you were amused, and who were your partners. Oh, said I shall not forestall Jane. I left her dancing with Mr. George Otway. She will love to tell you all about it herself tomorrow. Her first partner was Mr. Elton. I do not know who will ask her next. Perhaps Mr. William Cox. My dear sir, you are too obliging. Is there nobody you would not rather? I am not helpless, sir. You are most kind. Upon my word, Jane on one arm and me on the other. Stop. Let us stand a little back. Mrs. Elton is going. Dear Mrs. Elton, how elegant she looks. Beautiful lace. Now we all follow her train. Quite the queen of the evening. Well, here we are at the passage. 2 steps, Jane. Take care of the... I was convinced there were two, and there is but one. I never saw anything equal to the comfort and style. Candles everywhere. I was telling you of your grandmama, Jane. There was a little disappointment. The baked apples and biscuits, excellent in their way, you know, but there was a delicate fricassee of sweetbread and some asparagus brought in at first, and good Mr. Woodhouse, not thinking the asparagus quite boiled enough, sent it all out again. Now, there is nothing Grandmama loves better than sweetbread and asparagus. So she was rather disappointed, but we agreed we would not speak of it to anybody, for fear of its getting round to dear Miss Woodhouse, who would be so very much concerned. Well, this is brilliant. I am all amazement. Could not have supposed anything. Such elegance and profusion. I have seen nothing like it since. Well, where shall we sit? Where shall we sit? Anywhere, so that Jane is not in a draught. Where I sit is of no consequence. Oh, do you recommend this side? Well, I am sure, Mr. Churchill, only it seems too good, but just as you please. What you direct in this house cannot be wrong. Dear Jane, how shall we ever recollect half the dishes for Grandmama? Soup, too, bless me. I should not be helped so soon, but it smells most excellent, and I cannot help beginning. Emma had no opportunity of speaking to Mr. Knightley till after supper, but when they were all in the ballroom again, her eyes invited him irresistibly to come to her and be thanked. He was warm in his reprobation of Mr. Elton's conduct. It had been unpardonable rudeness, and Mrs. Elton's looks also received the due share of censure. "They aimed at wounding more than Harriet," said he. "Emma, why is it that they are your enemies?" He looked with smiling penetration, and on receiving no answer added, "She ought not to be angry with you, I suspect, whatever he may be. To that surmise, you say nothing, of course, but confess, Emma, that you did want him to marry Harriet." "I did," replied Emma, "and they cannot forgive me." He shook his head, but there was a smile of indulgence with it, and he only said, "I shall not scold you. I leave you to your own reflections." "Can you trust me with such flatterers? Does my vain spirit ever tell me I am wrong?" "Not your vain spirit, but your serious spirit. If one leads you wrong, I am sure the other tells you of it." "I do own myself to have been completely mistaken in Mr. Elton. There is a littleness about him which you discovered, and which I did not, and I was fully convinced of his being in love with Harriet. It was through a series of strange blunders. And in return for your acknowledging so much, I will do you the justice to say that you would have chosen for him better than he has chosen for himself. Harriet Smith has some first-rate qualities which Mrs. Elton is totally without. An unpretending, single-minded, artless girl, infinitely to be preferred by any man of sense and taste to such a woman as Mrs. Elton. I found Harriet more conversable than I expected." Emma was extremely gratified. They were interrupted by the bustle of Mr. Weston calling on everybody to begin dancing again. "Come, Miss Woodhouse, Miss Otway, Miss Fairfax, what are you all doing? Come, Emma, set your companions the example. Everybody is lazy. Everybody is asleep." "I am ready," said Emma, "whenever I am wanted." "Whom are you going to dance with?" asked Mr. Knightley. She hesitated a moment and then replied, "With you, if you will ask me. Will you? Said he, offering his hand. Indeed I will. You have shown that you can dance, and you know we are not really so much brother and sister as to make it at all improper. Brother and sister? No, indeed. And that was the end of Chapter 2 of Volume 3 of Emma by Jane Austen. That was sweet. That was sweet. Hi, Cat. Hi, Mermaid. Hi, Artana. And I see Alyssa is in his house. Hi, friend. Hey, Danny on YouTube. Thank you for joining. That was lovely. What y'all think, yeah? I have a headache, so we might end here. But before I say so, let me just check how Enid Street Outreach. I don't know who's running the account, but welcome, Enid Street Outreach. It's been a while. We're on Chapter 3, but I have a headache, and I did say I was going to end early today. So let's see. I know, Belle. It's now getting more interesting. You're very right. Tell me more. Any more insights? Miss Bates, she can talk. I think I can talk, but Miss Bates can talk. Wait, Alyssa, you have some predictions? What predictions? Please do share. Please do share. Yeah. And all y'all on YouTube, don't be shy. Come on, chit chat. We talk a little smack here. We like the text, we think it's beautiful, but we also are very free to talk smack about them and about Miss Jane Austen, respectfully, of course. Ooh, you know the story. You want to hear my predictions? Well, I think that Mrs. Elton is, what's the word? Something about wind. Anyway, I think that she is full of it. And I know, no, indeed, wink, wink, wink. Of course, Knightley. Now Emma is starting to see Knightley a little bit differently, I think. But it feels like this is more of a slow burn than even Pride and Prejudice was. I think that Harriet is probably still going to end up with the farmer. Oh, Alyssa, you're not even going to give me like, oh, you're getting warm? That's rude. That's rude as hell. So rude. Stella, do you have any predictions? Alyssa is leaving me out to dry. I think that Frank Churchill likes Jane. I know we've got quite a bit of more book to go, and now it's not even telling me what percentage we're through. So, but I do think that Frank Churchill cares too much about what's happening with Jane Fairfax and her piano and her shenanigans. I think that there's something in the soup, as we would say in Ghana. There's something in that soup, and I think Frank and Jane Fairfax are gonna be a little something. I think Harriet is gonna go back to her friends and the farmer, and I think Emma and Knightley. 68%. Thank you, Belle. Thank you. My Kindle is just not playing with me, and yeah, that's what I think. Am I? Just tell me if I'm warm. You don't have to say if I'm. Okay, can you tell me if one of the couples is right? Am I right on one of them at least? Oh, Stella, thank you. Stella thinks that I'm right in all my predictions and agrees with all of them. Thank you. Will something happen to Mr. and Mrs. Elton? Please say that's so toasty. Maria said it's toast. Okay, sorry. This is my desk. My little silly desk. Maria said I'm toasty, so listen. Y'all get a little. I've been a nasty girl. That's awesome. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Please, do Mr. and Mrs. Alton get a little bit of like pie in your face? Is there a pie in your face moment, please? Do they eat some dirt? Do they? Please say yes. Please say I'm not. I mean, I'm gonna say I don't wish them ill, but they're book characters and feel like they deserve it. Just a little bit. What do y'all think? No, what do y'all think? Those of you who've read the book, can you... Okay, you can whisper it in my ear in a DM. Crickets. So mean, Alyssa. Rude. Anyway, my darlings, excuse me, little mama. Ooh, please whisper in my ear. You know you wanna. One of these nights, I'm gonna come on. We're not gonna do a reading. I'm just gonna do the whisper thing. Like, dang. It's such a weird song. I enjoy it. I don't know how they did it. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna try and spend like 15 minutes, see if I can finish editing at least one video and cut it up into shorts and schedule it. I don't think I'm gonna be posting any of the long form videos on TikTok anymore. I'm only gonna post them on the tube. So I'll create shorts and post some of those shorts on TikTok and just say full video on YouTube, so that I'm only uploading it, and then we'll have a 2-week break. I'll miss you all. I hope you get to listen to some of the old stories at least and get some rest. Sleep early for a few weeks until I'm back. Okay. Thank you all so much. Stay healthy. Take care of yourselves, okay? I will see you all tomorrow.